So this horse here, we just started working with it after lunch here, the first day at this clinic in New Zealand, and all I wanted to do was not stand near me, and I tried to get her off me, and I had to take this flag and get pretty firm with it to get her to even think about getting off me, because all she basically wanted to do was jump over the top of me, not trying to get anywhere, just basically saying no to my ask. Anyway, so all I brought her out here and just worked her with the flag a bit. And get to where I ask her to go, and then I cause her to go. Anyway, I was telling these guys this morning how, horses are very, very, very observant. People are very observant too. Anybody watching this? I didn't tie that halter. If someone wants to send me a private message on Facebook or something and say, you tied the halter wrong, I didn't tie it. I was telling these guys, horses are very, very observant. And I've got a friend of mine from Australia who, when he was younger, when he was about 19, went to the Northern Territory, which is where all those big cattle stations are. And he was on a cattle station that was about 1 million acres, I suppose. And he was riding along one day with this old bloke. See right there, she was tipping that hip towards me. Riding along one day with this old bloke, and they kind of stopped on top of this hill. And they looked down over this big flat area. And the old bloke said, hey, look, there's a mob of brumbies down there. So a mob of brumbies for you Americans would be a herd of wild horses. There's a mob of brumbies there. So they're watching them for a minute. And then he said, the old fella said, hey, look over there. There's a mob of brumby stallions, like a bachelor herd. Okay? And the two mobs kept moving till they kind of saw each other. And when they did, they were quite a ways away, probably, 300 metres, 400 metres, I don't know how far away they were. But the lead stallion of the band of mares and stuff, he came out and kind of went, you young fellas don't want to come over here, and kind of went backwards and forwards like that. And as soon as he did that, one of the young stallions came out of that other mob of stallions and headed towards him. And the old bloke said to my friend Ed, he said, this old stallion is going to get his ass kicked right here. You watch this. And so Ed watched the whole thing, and that young stallion came down there and had a big fight with the older stallion, and the older stallion got beat. Anyway, so when that younger stallion went off to that mob of mares and stuff, you know what's the first thing you think he would have done? Any ideas? The first thing he did was exactly what I'm doing right here. Can I get you to go where I want? He just went in and moved him around, and he kind of kept moving him around here and there until he proved that he was a good enough leader for the whole thing, you know what I mean? And that's almost what's going on here. This is, I'm introduced to this new herd of horses right here, this one. And I come in and she was like, I'm going to tell you what to do. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to have you move around until you start responding to what I ask you to do. So that's why I told this story, to tell you about almost what I'm doing with this mare. But anyway, so the old stallion that got beaten, he turned and went off to join the young stallions. And when he got over there, he came marching in and they started chasing him around. And they said, no, you can't come in here and join us until you will allow us to see how much better that turns are getting? When we started, before we turned the camera on, she was about running over the top of me. So I might just see if I can get her to stop for a minute. I'm not going to try to fix that yet. But so that old stallion went over to join the young stallions. He's like, I'm going to come in here. They're like, no, you're not. And they chased him around until he kind of went, oh, I'll come in here. But the big moral to this story is, after they watched that whole thing, Ed says to the old guy, how did you know that old stallion was going to get his ass kicked? Is anybody thinking that? How did he know that? Because that old stallion came out of that mob and he went, you don't want to come over here. He didn't go, you young fellas, take your mates and your barbecue and bugger off. He said, you don't want to come over here. And that young stallion from that far away went, he doesn't believe in himself. I think he's old and crippled and I think I can take him. Because that old stallion told him from that far away that I don't think I'm good enough to take you, so I'm not gonna. Does that make sense? And Marie, this morning with your horse, when you went, go, instead of go, that's the same thing. You get what I'm talking about there? You know, so those horses can really recognise whether you believe you're going to do it or not from a long way away. But the reason I said that story right now with this horse is because that's all I'm doing with her is, can I get you to go here and go there? I'm just going to suggest she goes over here. It's almost